Good evening. Welcome to the April 30th school committee meeting. This meeting will be broadcast live, recorded by Foxborough Cable Access. Welcome to everybody. We're going to start off the agenda with open public comment. And as of right now, I believe there is one person on the list, so we'll start out with that.
Thank you kindly. I appreciate it. Randall, Lyons, 59 Carroll Drive. This is my first time speaking at school committee. I'm very excited about that, and I've watched a lot of school committee. So I ultimately just wanted to be here to thank the committee. I know Dr. Donovan is here as well. I want to thank the logo committee as well, and Nate for your participation on it. I know the rollout has not been an easy process. I appreciate the decision that this board made last year, but I also appreciate the fact that this has been a process that's been going on for 7 years. I believe it was the right decision. I'm excited that the decision was made. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to show my appreciation, especially now that the 16 logos have been introduced and that the town is now going to move forward and hopefully pick or present a logo to this board in the upcoming meetings. On that front, I know we have an election starting next week, so I also wanted to kind of make my kind of overall recommendation. Whoever is sitting at this board after the next election, I hope and I trust that you'll be able to put your personal opinions to the side and make decisions based on what's best for the town, what's best for the schools, and what's best for the students. I truly believe that when the rollout process happens for the new logo, it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge for the administrative team. It's going to be a challenge for Dr. Donovan. It's going to be a challenge for your athletic director. Unfortunately, I don't know that name right off the top of my head. But you also have a very strong administrative team. You have a very strong school system in Foxborough. But they're going to need your support from above. So I hope that the school committee will recognize that and will do everything in their power to support the process, to support the new rollout of the logo, and just to stand behind the schools, to stand behind the decision that was made and move the town forward. I don't think anybody wants to go through a process like this on an annual basis. I would love to just continue to move forward, continue the process, and help support the schools and students going forward. In closing, Nate, Sarah, I know a couple others are missing, but I wish you all the best in next week's election, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I'd just like to make mention that Richard Pearson is not here. He's away, so he wasn't able to attend this meeting. So there's just 4 of us for this meeting. We have a few actions on the agenda, so the vote will be 4. And it is his birthday, so happy birthday, Richard. All right, next we'll move on to the approval of minutes. These are the minutes for the March 5th, 2024 regular school committee meeting. Any discussion, questions, comments?
Motion to accept the minutes from the March 5th, 2024 meeting as presented.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Abstaining?
Abstaining, I wasn't here for this meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we have Michelle Thackston abstaining, and Brent, myself, and Rob approving. Next, we will move on to the April 2nd meeting minutes for the regular meeting. Any questions, discussion? No?
I make a motion to approve the April 2nd, 2024 meeting minutes, this school committee meeting.
Great.
Second, sorry.
I'm like, what? What's happening? I don't know who got it first. We'll say Rob. I heard it first. So Rob seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? No. Okay, great. Thank you. All right, wonderful. Now we're moving on to the star of the show, the teaching, I should say the son of the show, the teaching and learning highlights. We have Ms. Noelle Henriksen and Ms. Megan Forensic here. I'm sorry if I said it wrong.
Forensic, it's fine.
Forensic here to talk to us about some really exciting things that they did.
You already got yours.
Welcome. Do we have to wear these? Because I can't see.
Don't wear them because you can't see anything. I'm just speaking from experience. Hi, everybody. We're so excited that we get to come tonight to just talk to you a little bit about what happened on April 8th here in Foxborough. We talk so much about making the standards relevant to the real world, right? No other time has this become more evident than on April 8th when we had a solar eclipse. Those science standards just jumped right out at us. And so we wanted to mark the moment here in Foxborough. We didn't want to ignore it. We didn't want to over-dial into getting nervous about it. We wanted to embrace it fully. And so I'm just going to share with you some slides, and then Megan will talk a little bit too about what she did to prepare her students. Every picture that you see is from that day. Kindergarten through 8th grade, everybody got solar eclipse glasses, including all of our staff members, our teachers, central office, cafeteria workers, everybody that works in the schools. They all got solar glasses, and they were told to please join us for this activity today. And so you see it's developmentally sort of where students are at. Some kids in kindergarten were making the hats. You saw those all over the place. But really what was so much fun was talking to students about the importance of being safe. That was the number one thing, keeping those glasses on. We had lots of skits happening, showing what happens if I actually wear corrective lenses and how do the glasses go on over the corrective lenses. That was a great conversation for 6-year-olds to have. But you'll see the hats there, and you'll see students really making sure that they were safe, and teachers too. We actually did a lot of background knowledge with what is a solar eclipse. This was a great opportunity to talk about these science standards in every single grade. You'll see there. We sent home this slide deck, very similar to the slide deck, to all the families because we wanted to have the talk at home, like with families, what we were doing at school, but talking to them about it. So we talked a little bit about what was a solar eclipse and how did it work. I am going to toss it over to Meg because she's one of our Project Lead the Way teachers, and she teaches a whole module on this with students. So we were so lucky that kind of happened this year. So
hi, good evening. So Project Lead the Way for 5th grade. I am new at this, and it's my first year. So one of the modules is called Patterns in the Universe. So we go over the brightness and distance of stars, and the inquiry process, and like how you predict patterns in the universe, like your shadows, day and night, and the seasons. And one of the ones that we touched upon is moon phases. And that was literally a month before the eclipse. And so we went through the 8 phases of the moon, and I made the question, how many of you guys know what an eclipse is, a lunar or solar eclipse? And they some raised their hand, totally got it. Others were, what are you talking about? I have no idea. So we did sort of an open discussion as a group. We did sort of a KWL chart, as in teacher lingo, and sort of brainstorm what we thought it was. We did some research, and we learned what a total eclipse was. However, I felt as though they needed more of a visual of this. So I sat down one night, and I made a PowerPoint, and I wanted to get it out to the entire 5th grade, just to see and show them what to expect. And it was huge. I'm a visual learner. I love hands-on. So this PowerPoint was something that I really thought benefited them. And to totally go above and beyond, we actually did a project with clay. And they had to be the moon and the earth, and someone was the sun. And we sort of had to show them how it worked with our Earth's rotation. What is a lunar eclipse? So the moon passes through the Earth's shadow. And what is a solar eclipse? So the moon passes between the sun and the Earth. So I wanted to have that basis before they went out and actually saw it themselves. And this was very, very successful. And I'm proud that this wasn't necessarily taught in PLTW, but that I could add to it. So I'm very happy what happened with it.
That's awesome. And you're going to see around the room, I just put up some posters third grade at the IGO did a whole school assembly about the solar eclipse. And what they did was they did skits acting as if they were the sun, the moon, and rotating around. There were songs that were sung. I don't know if you know this, but there were Spotify and Apple Music had whole entire playlists dedicated to songs about the eclipse, total eclipse of the heart. I'm wearing my sunglasses at night. So if you walked around school during the day, I was encouraging people to play those songs. So it was really, really fun. That picture on the left is from Megan's Project Lead the Way class. Students, we gave them teachers a ton of resources in order to prep for this, so that it wasn't just like walk outside and take a look, but it was really meaningful developmentally at their grade level. It was really fun to think about some fun facts that would happen during the eclipse. Again, this PowerPoint went home. And then just really interesting about how the birds will stop chirping, the breeze completely stops, animals act very different. You know, bats will come out of hibernation and things like that at night, like thinking about all the stuff that happens, the temperature drop, all that stuff that happens. But you'll see students and teachers alike really enjoyed this. We were not in the path of totality. We are close, but not quite there. But we still wanted to mark this moment, and thankfully Mother Nature did agree with us, and we had a beautiful, bright day that day. I don't know if you remember, but the days leading up to it were damp and dark and cloudy, and then it was just this beautiful day when we woke up on April 8th, which was wonderful. I had a teacher say to me, it was so nice to stop and celebrate the magnificence of the universe today. And I thought that was a really beautiful way to sort of sum up that day for us in Foxborough. This was also sent home to parents. There was a QR code. It goes to the NASA website that was updated hourly about giving more information about the eclipse. We wanted parents to get as involved as possible. And we are ready for the quick video of the day.
Sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. We want them! We want them!
I just hope that the kids went home that day and just really not only learned something, but were able to celebrate the magnificence of the universe, because it was a beautiful day here in Foxborough. And I was just really happy that I got to work with people that embraced that helped us fund the glasses. So thank you to everybody that did, because it was a really magical day. And it was just a really beautiful celebration of the earth and having, standards come alive in a very real way. So yeah, it was really fun.
And as a parent and a teacher, as a parent who's all my children go to Foxborough Public Schools, they came home and they said, "Mom, that was so cool."
Yeah.
Not only did they get to see it in school, they came home and they got to see it with me too.
Right.
And it was reinforced with the PowerPoint, so they knew some information. We viewed it the night before, so it was pretty special.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you guys.
Thank
you.
you.
Awesome. Thank you. Does
Appreciate
anyone
it.
have any questions? Dr. Berdos?
I'd just like to really point out that all of the glasses that the kindergarten through 8th grade students had along with all the staff, that really is thanks to Noel, because of thinking really far ahead and ordering them far before anyone else and really thinking about that. I know that I had many superintendent colleagues that were reaching out and saying, did you get classes? Where are you getting them? Like, my K-8 science director has been all over this for like over a month now.
Right.
But again, bringing the science standards to life and all that was done with all of the teachers ahead of time. I happened to be in a kindergarten classroom walking through, and they were getting ready to read a book. They said, do you want to do it? I'm like, of course I do. So jumped in. But two, thinking about our kindergarten teachers, you saw the paper plates, and I just thought that was ingenious because they were taking the extra precautions with our youngest learners and taking those glasses and then providing an additional barrier, if you will, for safety. And it was so well thought out. So kudos to all of our teachers and everything, like Project Lead the Way and Megan, all that you did, and every one of our teachers, because it really was an awesome day to see the kids out there, and I enjoyed it myself.
It was
It
fantastic.
was a great style choice with the paper plates, too.
Right?
It was.
Great style choice.
Right.
Those pictures will live in infamy.
They will.
Yes.
They're going to be in somebody's wedding video
They-
someday, right? Along with Bonnie Tyler. It was very grateful that we had
Could
an
be in a
Eclipse.
senior yearbook, I don't know. Senior photos.
There's,
Yes.
sorry. okay.
Sure.
There's a few programs now that, because the next total solar eclipse will go across South America
Yes.
in
Yes.
early October. There's a few programs of folks collecting these and just sending them off.
We dropped hundreds off at a Mansfield location
You are.
because we wanted to make sure that students, especially maybe
Awesome.
not having access to those, I believe they said that they were going to drop them off as far as Africa, so that they could experience, students could experience what we were able to experience today. But we collected back hundreds of them.
Great.
Dropped them to Mansfield, which had a big drop-off facility to make sure that we were recycling them, as many as we could. So yeah, that was another piece of like paying it forward, I think, to other students who might not be as lucky to be in a district like ours.
Absolutely. Thank you
Yeah.
for doing all the work. I appreciate it.
So fun.
Yeah.
Yes, so fun.
Awesome. Thanks for bringing your presentations to us, too.
Just wanted you to see a few things.
They're amazing.
No,
So
they're
thank you guys.
fantastic.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much.
Have a good night.
Take care. It's easily our favorite part of every meeting. Dr. Berdos, it's time for the superintendent update.
I want to bring up, first of all, I think you're all aware that we're going to have an additional school committee meeting next week for the purpose of the school business manager, and that is a school committee vote. So thank you for your flexibility and getting an additional meeting on the calendar. So next Wednesday at 6:30. The other announcements that I have is really for parents and guardians to check the school calendars. There is so much that is going on that's starting even just this week. So I'm going to give you just a little bit of a flavor just for this week. Tomorrow, we have meet and greet for our new kindergarten enrollment coming in. So starting off with our youngest, we have art shows taking place. At the IGO, that's taking place on Thursday. We have the Pops this weekend. We also have, with the Federation of Children and our own here in Foxborough, hosting an IEP workshop that's taking place at the Adjourn, and that's families as active partners in the IEP process and talking about the new IEP and supports and resources for families, and that's taking place from 8 to noon at the Adjourn on Saturday, the 4th. We have the Borough Art Show taking place next week. We have Spring Jazz Fest. We have Seussical Jr., the musical that's going to be taking place at the Adjourn on May 9th, 10th, and 11th. So I'm going to stop there because that's just in a week. It's the time of year. We also know that the time of year is going to go by really, really quickly. We've had the one snow day this year, so that's bumped us over to Monday, June 17th, being the last day of school. It's a half day at this point in time. I think I'm safe as far as weather, but I'm not going to say anything on that. But again, come out and support all of our different events, the teachers and all of those running those, whether they're different extracurricular activities. They worked really hard. The kids have worked really hard. And that's all in addition to the normal ongoings this time of year.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Okay, we're going to go over to Nate for the school committee representative report.
So over April break, the high school hosted the largest track meet in the Commonwealth, and I didn't believe how large it was until I really sat down and listened to the numbers. There were 74 boys teams registered, 68 girls teams registered, and a total of 2,200 athletes that participated. Thanks to the 4 high school teams that helped volunteer to run the event, the concession stands, and just directing people. Without their help, this event would not have been possible. The junior prom is May 18th. The senior black and white dance is May 28th. And AP exams begin next week. And then there's 18 days until the next day off. For the majority of the district, seniors have 13 days left.
Great. Joe, did you have something to add? Just say your name and address.
I want to add into Nate's update that Foxborough Cleanup Day is coming up on May 11th.
Thank you very much. That's great.
After the spring, right around Earth Day like it was pre-pandemic,
Yes.
rather than September.
Yes, wonderful.
Reminder.
That's fantastic. All right. Thank you very much, Nate, for your update. As always, it's awesome. Next up, we have Dr. Donovan to talk to us about overnight travel. So another thing that seems like it's getting back to pre-pandemic normalness. Should I knock on wood for that, too? Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm here to ask for support for a trip that has occurred many times over, the trip to England, although this year they're going to add a stop in Dublin for the first few days and then travel by ferry across the Irish Sea through Wales and then ultimately end up in London. So this trip has normally been led by Dr. Wazlewski, but she's going to hand that off for this year for next year to Mrs. Williams and Ms. Keller. So, I'm here to.
Thank you.
Nice. I see here that we do need a vote on this.
Yep. Yeah.
So
I motion that we approve the requested travel to Dublin and London for February of 2025.
Second?
all in favor?
Enthusiastically.
4-0-0.
Thank you very much.
Yay.
Take
It's
care.
great.
Glad it's happening.
Yes, very glad.
Awesome.
And thank you to Ms. Williams, Ms. Keller for stepping up.
Yes.
It's a huge responsibility. But I'm
Yeah.
glad they're
I'm
doing
sure it's also going to be a lot of fun too. I think it'll be a lot of everything.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, fantastic.
Thank you all very
Awesome.
much.
And the many years from Dr. Waz leading that group.
it. Also, thank you for that, too.
Yes.
Yes.
And good luck to you because your schedule is pretty full. You've got some dances, the prom, you've got a
I know.
lot going on.
It's
so.
an exciting time of year at the high school.
Yes,
It is.
yes. Thank you
It
for
is a
everything you're
hoot.
doing. Thank you. I just want to note and take a second here. I'm not trying to jinx anything, but I did want to, just for public consumption, just recognize that we are running about 20 minutes early. Nothing that can be done on that, but just we're going to move right along to the next item in the agenda. I did just want to make a mention of it. Right now, we need a school committee vote to reappoint Dr. Amy Berdos as voting member of Bi-County Collaborative. So I'm going to have Dr. Berdos just talk for a minute about what that is.
Sure. So as you know, we're a member of the Bi-County Collaborative, and we have some students that are going to that collaborative. But as the voting board for that is superintendents of the member district. So just as you're the school committee for Foxborough, we're essentially that board for BICO. And we meet monthly. I've also been on the subcommittee for their facilities as they're looking at different facilities. So there's a lot that takes place there. But again, that's a required vote by you for me to continue to be the voting member for BICO.
Awesome. Any questions or further discussion on this before we make a motion?
I motion that we vote to reappoint Dr. Berdos as a voting member of the Bi-County Collaborative for the 2024-25 school year.
Second?
All in favor? That would also be 4-0-0. So thank you very much, and thank you for the work that you do on that, because it's really important work, and it's one more minute of your day on your calendar, and we do appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Madam Chair?
Yes?
Also, just, members of the board and admin have cited previous meetings. There was a more lengthy than normal presentation of that a year ago. So if you want more info on the BICO Collaborative and what they do and all the partner schools and things like that, you can find that from basically this meeting a year ago. We had a more extensive Q&A about it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's really important. Okay, so now we are on to the annual school committee vote to approve the Foxborough Public School Policy Manual. And I just wanted to see if anybody wanted, I didn't know if anybody wanted to speak on that, or we needed.
Dr. Berdos, do you want to set that up for us?
Yeah.
Sure. So the policy manual is all of the policies that we follow, and then, as you know, we have a policy subcommittee, and we review some of those that need to be updated. We have some of those obviously coming up next on the agenda, but it is a requirement annually for you to vote that we are going to continue to follow the policy manual in whole.
Yes. Okay, so if anybody would like to, well, first, do we have any further discussion, questions, or anything on that? Okay, then someone,
Okay, I make a motion to approve the Foxborough Public School Policy Manual for 2024-2025. Sorry, I didn't realize it was so far away.
that's okay. That's okay, I think we heard you, so Michelle made a motion,
Second.
Brent made a second, all in favor? Looks like 4-0-0 on that, so that has passed.
And I'm sorry, I should have and just for anyone in the public that is interested, that policy manual is available online?
It's online, right under the
Yes.
district tab on the main page.
So anybody that's interested in reading the policy manual is available to you.
And it is searchable.
It is, by topic.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you.
Fantastic. On that same topic of policy, we now have the second reading of two policies that we have here that our policy subcommittee has worked on. So if you guys want to just, I don't
Sure.
know if anybody would like to take that on?
Yeah,
Just kind of explain.
I'd like to make a motion that we waive the second reading of both of these policies.
I'm comfortable with that, but that defer to all our other members and
I second.
and members of admin.
So it looks like Michelle's seconding that, but if you have any
No,
other further
it's
comments
fine.
or anything, we've read both policies in entirety, so I think it's appropriate. All in favor of waiving the second read on both policies?
Yeah.
And that would be 4-0-0 as well. So we're going to waive the reading of these. The next discussion by our policy subcommittee,
Oh, thank you.
are we actually voting on these tonight, on
Yeah,
accepting these two
So
policies?
we are, just because we haven't done a lot of this, our practice has typically been that people that are not members of the subcommittee put the motion forward for approval of those policies. So
Okay.
since Brent and I are the policy subcommittee, we would look to either Michelle or you, Sarah,
Sure.
to actually put that motion forward and second it before we vote.
Thank you.
Okay?
Absolutely. Okay, I make a motion to accept policy JJE, the co-curricular and extracurricular activities.
I'd second that. All in favor? Oh, anyone have any discussion? I should ask first. All right, no discussion, all in favor? And that would be passed 4-0-0. Policy JJE.
Okay, I now make a motion to accept policy K, relations with parent booster organizations.
I'd second that. Any further discussion, questions, comments?
My only discussion is more just honestly, I'll say I thank everyone who contributed to this one because it's greatly streamlined from that which some other school districts do and that which MASC also has. And I thank admin for, really bringing the whole district in line under their practices, which are an extension of this policy. And it does that which we've all, at least historically in the committee, wanted to do, which is to keep the policy flexible for administration, putting kids' interests first, and not having to be updated every time mass law is updated, frankly. So that's all. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you. So all in favor of accepting policy K as presented? And that one would be 4-0-0 as well. I just want to take a quick moment so we can kind of do a lap if anyone has anything they'd like to add, any news they'd like to share, if they'd like to do that. I've already embarrassed Richard by saying happy birthday to him, even though he's not here. So, but any community updates or anything like that. Michelle, I know sometimes she'll have some updates with CPAC.
No.
There is a lot going on with.
There is a lot going on with CPAC. The big one was the May 4th
Yeah.
one with the IEP. We also do have Alan Bloom, also speaking about the IEP, that's coming up in May. And we also have another Parent Academy session coming up in May as well. And I think that's the big ones for CPAC.
Great. And just to clarify, I actually saw some questions kind of floating out there. CPAC does service from preschool through high school, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Just for a clarifying
Yes,
point.
we have a Facebook. If anybody wants to reach out or has any questions, please reach out to us there.
Sometimes once you get to a high school level, you maybe feel like you're in an island. It's nice to know that that resource is out there
We're
for
still here
parents.
for everyone, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rob, anything?
We should probably congratulate the cast and crew of Annie from the Burl this past weekend.
Amazing.
Since we acknowledged the 101 nomination a couple of weeks ago, I know that Annie, I think, was a big success based on everything that I heard. So congratulations to the cast and crew of Annie.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Brent?
Mine is more just town-wide related, and I just want to, because I'm not on the ballot this year, I just want to thank everyone who serves on this committee, Select Board, Housing Board, Library, Veterans Affairs, everything. It's, all these positions are volunteer, and I'm always appreciative when somebody wants to do it and when anybody puts their hat in the ring. And come what may with the election, and I hope record numbers of people come out and vote and you know, put their voices to this whole process. And I just want to thank every one of you for serving and everyone who's running. And anyway, best wishes to everybody coming up ahead. That's it.
Dr. Berdos?
I think I had mine. Just again, check the calendar. Lots of things taking place.
Yes. Dr. Burrows?
I have nothing to add.
Nate? All right, I'd just like to say thank you very much on Brent's point. Thank you very much for a wonderful 3 years. Hopefully I'll be back. If not, it's been real, and I have loved every second of it.
Thank you.
Even when it gets hard. I still love my little volunteer job.
All this is fun.
Yeah.
So I motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.